In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what our credit score is and why it's so important we keep it as high as possible. Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vish, and on this channel, we discuss how improving our personal finances and productivity can help us live happier and stress-free lives. A key part of our personal finances is our credit score, and it's something that we need to be aware of and not take for granted. I'm going to split this video up into three sections. The first, what is a credit score and credit report? What exactly are they used for and how do they affect us? Before I begin, just a quick disclaimer. I am not a financial professional or a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, please seek a professional who will be able to help you personally. So what is a credit score and credit report? A credit score is a number that's given to us by a credit reference agency that helps lenders that are lending us money or credit determine how much of a risk we are. A credit reference agency is an organization that have information on us. They have personal information about us, they have our financial history, and they have our credit scores as well. All this information is used by lenders who are lending us credit cards or personal loans, mortgages, car notes, to determine whether or not they should even lend us this money or this credit. There are three main credit agencies. There's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Each of them will produce a credit score on you, and they'll all be different. So, for example, you may have a 100% score with one credit agency, but with another, not so much. It doesn't really matter. They're broadly all in line, but they each have their own way of determining what the credit score for you will be. So how this all comes together is, let's say you go to a bank and say, hey, I would like a loan. The bank will take some information from you, so your name and some personal information and some reasons why you want that loan. They will take that information and they will submit it to one or more of these credit reference agencies that they have a relationship with. The credit reference agency will take that information and record it and file it in your own personal report, which is called a credit report. That credit report will contain your financial history to date and the personal information I mentioned earlier, along with this new application for this loan. They'll take that information and that will generate a score. And then that score is what the bank will use to determine whether or not they should actually lend this money to you. So in essence, the higher the score, the better for you. And that leads us nicely to what is a credit score used for. Simply put, a credit score is used to determine how much of a risk you are. Let's say you walk into a bank and you want to apply for a credit card. So the bank manager says, okay, fine, we'll give you a credit card and we'll give you $1,000 limit. Are you going to be able to pay that back? You say, yes, I will. Now the bank's not just going to believe you and take your word for it. They need proof of that. So what they use is your credit report and your credit score. So they'll go to the credit reference agency, take that information, find out what your score is, and that score will determine whether or not they should lend you that money. Now, if you've got a really high score, be like, great, yeah, we'll give you the credit card, no problem. If it's really low, they may say, we're not sure, because if we do lend you that credit card, you may not be able to pay it back. That's simply all it is. That is literally what a credit score is used for and how it's created. So why does this all matter? Well, it matters because having a good credit score will decide how much money can be given to you and how much you pay for this money. Because remember, for a lot of things, you actually have to pay interest on loans that are given to you. And a perfect example for this is a mortgage. With a mortgage, you will go to a bank and you say, I want a mortgage, please give me a mortgage. Now, they'll run their credit checks, etc., and decide whether they should give you one or not based on your score and your credit report. Now, if you have a low score, one, you may not even be able to get a mortgage, or the second scenario is you may be able to get a mortgage, but the number of people that are willing to lend you money may be a lot smaller, and the cost of lending that money, the interest rate, may be a lot higher, so it will cost you more money. However, if you have a good credit score, then you'll have much more lenders open to you, and they'll be fighting over to take your money because they know, hey, this person's got a really high credit score. If they've got a high credit score, that means they have a good financial history, meaning they've been given money in the past and they've been able to pay that money back on time. There's no real issues with them. There's nothing that we need to worry about. So we will happily give you money, and because we want your business, we'll give you the best rate we can because we don't want you to go to our competitor. We want you. This way, everybody wins. You win as you're taking out this mortgage and you've been given the money at a really low rate, and the bank wins because you'll be paying them interest even though that interest rate is lower, they know they have security knowing more than likely you're going to be able to pay that money back every single month. And that is why a high credit score is important. Another way to look at this is if you're applying for university. Let's say you want to apply for the top 10 universities in your country. And in order for you to do that, you need to have the best grades possible. So you study really hard and you manage to get the best grades possible, hopefully giving you access to these universities. And in theory, further down the line, this will help you with your career projection, let's say. Well, the same thing works with a credit score. If you, instead of studying hard, if you maintain a good financial history by making sure you've got no bankruptcy, you've been paying off any credit cards that you have on time, making sure you pay your mobile bills, all that sort of stuff, making sure you've got a good financial history, then that will give you, hopefully, a very high credit score. And then that high credit score, in terms of access to the top 10 universities, will give you access to the best possible lenders and at the cheapest rates possible. So they both work the same way. A good financial history will give you much more choice in the future, thus helping you save money. I hope that made sense, and I'm going to do more videos around credit scores and credit reports to explain how you can actually get the best credit scores and what's the important factors that drive this score in more detail. And as soon as I have those videos, you'll be able to click somewhere here and watch them. But as this is my first video, thank you so much for watching and please subscribe.